Welcome to the Big Biz Show. You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
Wherever you're watching, wherever you're listening, we welcome you to another edition of the Big Biz Show. We are in Southern California, live inside the Loft 100 studios. And even though it's the holiday season, this holds true. Around these parts, we like to say,
the big old howdy to you.
We don't.
it's beautiful.
That needs to
It's
stop
beautiful.
immediately. I don't know. This is the last show that we'll do this for the year.
I'm sorry, is somebody talking?
Yeah.
I'm Costa. That's Mary Godwin. Oh, the man who right there is behind the bar talking.
Of course, Aaron Day is here.
Oh, yeah.
Can I say, Aaron Day, of course, CEO of Amaze, our partner in Loft 100 Studios in a number of ways that we'll talk to you about in a minute. But I read your letter to shareholder this morning. And this, and you and I can geek out on this. Most people don't geek out on this stuff, but the way you cleared your balance sheet is as impressive as what you guys do for a living. Because when you take over, people ask me this all the time: what makes a good CEO? And I'm not a good one. I'd be a good chief revenue officer. The rest of because I couldn't do what you did and have the patience without, I'd be in prison because I'd kill somebody because it's so frustrating. When you walk into a rat's
Second
nest,
or third time, Sully.
yeah. 3 strikes. When you walk into a rat's nest of a public company or any company, and you see all kinds of opportunity there in terms of value, great employees, great customers, but then you look and see how they got there, where they had to take scotch tape, staples, and a couple of paper clips, and suddenly you've got to unwind this mess. The first thing I think you have to do is start eliminating some of the debt, some of the liabilities, resolve the accounts payable, resolve the tax liabilities, and then concentrate on business growth all at the same time. It's not like you can go, okay, hold on, give me 6 months. That's crap. You got to do it at all the same time. How did you do that?
Exhausting.
Well, and I think Elon said it best, right? You know, CEO is the job that no one wants, right? You know, you do everything that no one else wants to do.
Sure.
I was telling my team this year about the Soapbox Derby. I don't know if you guys remember Soapbox Derby or not, but as a kid trying to build a car.
Yeah, this is the Boy Scout stuff,
yeah,
right?
Yeah, you build this car that's going to roll down this hill in Akron, Ohio, and compete with all these other people. And of course, you've got this big block of wood, and you've got to figure out how to get this big block of wood with 4 wheels, and that's basically all you get to get down the hill as fast as possible, right? And so the first thing you do when you're thinking about building a Soapbox Derby car is you figure out how to get it as light as possible, right? And so my philosophy as CEO is that if we're going to be successful, then the business needs to be as light as possible. And so when I got in and got under the hood and saw everything that was sitting there from the existing public company, my first focus was like, look, I don't want this to last forever. I want to get us to where we're as light as possible.
Sure.
We can move as fast as possible. And luckily for me, I have a great leadership team.
Sure.
And I looked at them and said, you guys got this over here for the next 6 months. This is what I want you to do. I'm going to focus on this. I'm going to carry the water here, and I'm going to fix this. And that's what we did.
And at the same time, if I'm not mistaken, you got $3 million of no debt liabilities, and you had another $5 million of tax liability and stuff out of the way. Then you raised $11 million.
Yeah.
Is when you go to capital markets for that, investment banks, hedge funds, private equity, family offices, how do you tell them, look, this is all our opportunity here, and oh, by the way, I'm fixing this black box of a mess over here at the same time. Is that part of the pitch when you go to do that?
It's part of the pitch, but in our case, it was probably 80% explaining what we do, right? Just over and over again. The amount of meetings I had from July, August through October, just telling people what we do and what we're going to do, and being consistent about it. And there was just that moment where finally it broke, right?
Yeah.
Finally enough people heard it. Random guys, like there's an investor from Meta who was in a meeting listening to a bunch of investor pitch decks, and soon as he started listening to me pitch, our stock started running.
Yeah.
And it was because he was buying.
Yeah.
Right? No way. He was buying, right? So I'm like, okay, I got something here, right? What was interesting, the pivot that came after months and months of just beating my head against the wall was moving from an investor deck to showing the product.
Yeah.
And when I finally started showing the product to these investors and say, let me show you what happens, every one of them said, well, you know, I've got a kid doing this. I've got a nephew doing this. My wife's trying to do that, right? And they got it. It clicked, and then the doors opened, right? But in the beginning, just showing them the investor deck, they just didn't understand it.
Yeah.
So it was just enormous amounts of legwork, travel.
So you didn't go in and saying, hey, we've got a big box hardware store idea. I think this is going to be awesome. You dealt with an age group, I'm assuming, across the spectrum, but everybody, the common denominator was, I either have the friend, the wife, the cousin, the son or something who wants to do that, or you were probably talking to some young, whatever, 20, 30 somethings that are like, absolutely, that's where we're going.
Here's two things. Probably 80% of the people I met with were 50 plus.
Okay.
And so the first thing I had to ask them, do you have a social media app on your phone? Okay.
Yep.
Do you understand social media?
Yeah.
And if they said no, like the funny thing is, I had a big investment bank pitching me to let them take over and be our banker. They gave me an analyst to meet with. The analyst comes walking in and he's got his huge resume, Shopify, all these people he covers. I'm like, what social media app do you have on your phone? I don't have any.
Oh, oops.
How are you going to understand our business?
Right.
Yeah,
if you don't live in our business a little bit, right?
Right.
Exactly.
But then it's interesting is that the 20 to 30 year olds that we met with, every single one of them didn't just say, hey, I'm interested in investing. Can we partner? And what's the most interesting about our business today is that every investor coming in the door that wants to be a partner of what we're doing has 2 or 3 other investments where they're like, we think Amaze will help my other
They
investments.
can utilize it, right?
Yes.
Because what you were saying, I mean, everybody has the desire to make money online. I mean, it just seems like the natural thing for everyone to be doing, whether you're a band, whether you're selling t-shirts, whether you're whatever business you're in, anyone can do it right now. It's like an open frontier for people, and you're helping them do it.
And there's so much support behind the movement to smaller communities, niches, micro groups coming together. You would think that there's an army moving to fight the big conglomerates right now, because there's so much volume of media coming out saying, hey, we believe 2026 is going to be about this, and it's about the micro community. So I know we're not through it yet, but we've made huge progress in Q4. And I think as investors understand what we did and the work we went through, and just with such a lean leadership team, it's incredible. I mean, with the small amount of people we had, what we did, I'm very proud of them.
It's great to partner up with you. Can't wait to see what 2026 is going to be.
So exciting.
And good for you, man. I'd love to see what's happening there. And if people want to get involved, they just go to amaze.com, right?
Yes, amaze.co.
Right.co. CO. Exactly right.
Aaron Day, CEO, Amaze, ticker symbol AMZE. Again, that website, amaze.co. All right, keep it here. Lots more to come at the Big Biz Show. Do not go anywhere.
To Loft 100 Studios, San Diego's Emmy Award-winning production studio, creative hub, and unique private or corporate event space. Host your next corporate or special event in our spacious main room. Utilize a green screen or our 3 million LED lights video wall to create the newest upcoming sales video, or record that podcast or YouTube show that you've been wanting to make happen. Take your creative endeavor to the next level at Loft 100 Studios. Scan the QR code or go to loft100studios.com to book a tour.
Loft 100 Studios, the Big Biz Show, and our affiliates and our hosts are not registered investment advisors or broker-dealers.
Our show hosts make no commitment that the purchase of securities of companies profiled or otherwise mentioned in our programming
are suitable or advisable for any person, or that an investment in such securities will be profitable in general.
Given the nature of the company's profile and the lack of an active trading market for the securities, investing is highly speculative and carries a certain high degree of risk.
We profile selected publicly traded and privately held companies on our program.
Most of these companies that we profile have provided compensation to Loft 100 Studios and its hosts for the profile coverage.
From time to time, we sell shares of the companies profiled in the open market that we receive as compensation for coverage of client companies.
But never sell stocks if we are speaking about interviewing or covering up public company who has paid compensation.
Specific questions on compensation can be obtained by contacting producer at sullyantgroup.com.
Listeners should verify all claims and do their own due diligence before investing in any securities mentioned on this program.
Investing in securities is speculative and carries a high degree of risk.
We encourage our investors to invest carefully and read the investor information available at the websites on the
Securities and Exchange Commission at sec.gov and or the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, FINRA, at www.finra.org.
I like it.
Hey, is that a rescue plane? Big Biz Show rolls on from the Loft 100 studios here in sunny, beautiful Southern California. Hope everyone's having a great day. As always, thank you for being along for the ride. Of course, up on stage, the incredibly talented day trader Quattro, best in the business. Back here at the bar, not so much. It's Costa, it's Mary Godwin, and it is Sully.
Wouldn't it be the quartet? Why is it a Quattro?
I don't know. 4?
Day trader Quattro.
I don't know. Why is it
Sounds
Quattro?
good.
Yeah.
What?
Day trader Quattro.
Has any band ever been called a Quattro?
No, it's always a quartet.
That was a trio or a quartet. Well, why is it a Quattro, Signore?
Well, because we got the trio, day trader trio. So when it's 3, and then I figured Quattro.
Okay.
And there,
how about just El Foro?
If you were up there, I would just say the Cinco. So perfectly, baby.
Hey, it's the most wonderful time of the year once again.
Yes, it is.
Here, as we enter into holiday. I guess we're not entering holiday. We're here. We're in holiday season.
We were here the day after
It
Labor
doesn't
Day.
feel like it snuck up though this year for some reason Thanksgiving was a big on-ramp from holiday. It was kind of a different holiday for this year.
I saw more trees and decorations up pre-Thanksgiving this year than I have in the
You're just noticing yourself from last year, Mike.
Maybe.
Well, it's also the time for holiday scams, and boy, I've seen I've said this before. Steve J.J. Weisman, of course, joins us. He's literally one of our longest-running guests. He wrote The Truth About Avoiding Scams many years ago. He runs scamicide.com. He likes to say things are not as bad as you think; they're far worse. Steve, what's interesting? I've said this to you before many times. I've said, look, these days with the way scams work, you can see the criminal coming at you.
Oh yeah.
It's like like you get home, your house is robbed. Gee, what are the like? How you unless you got a camera, you have no idea how it happened.
Yep.
With this stuff, you open your mail, and it's like you're literally communicating with the guy that's trying to steal from you. Like it's like it seems like it's. I don't know if that's more or less violating, but talk about some of these holiday shopping scams, Steve, because they're on the rise this year.
Yeah. And, the scams are getting worse. And a lot of it we can attribute to AI because so many of the scams now are worldwide. They're coming from North Korea. They're coming from Russia. They're coming from places in China where English is not the primary language. So before you would get an email or you would go to a phony website and they were almost laughable how bad they were. But now with the use of AI, they look really, really good. And so you see maybe a social media post, or you even go to Google or any of the search engines and you put in, maybe you put in Target or Walmart. What comes up tops is not necessarily the Walmart or the Target website, because the scammers do two things. One, they're so sophisticated in knowing how to manipulate the algorithms used by the search engines that they get their phony one top. And then the lazy ones, they just buy an ad to put their phony website up at the top. So before you ever use one of these websites that you see, and you want to make sure that when you do shop online, you want to use a credit card, not a debit card, because with a debit card, potentially you could lose your entire bank account. Credit cards, you get much more protection. Mm-hmm. So you check out, you go to something called whois.com, and whois.com, you put the URL of the site that you're on, and it will tell you if it's legit or not. I'll tell you a funny one was, you put in your credit card, and it tells you that the credit card has been declined, so you need to put in another credit card. Of course, it's the scammer, and what they want are 2 credit cards to steal from you. So you got to be really careful.
Oh my gosh, Steve, you were mentioning AI, and we talked in previous episodes about voice recognition and people stealing people's voices. A friend of mine just was the subject of this. She got a call from, she thought was her son, sounded just like her son, who was probably 16 or 17, and said, "Mom, I've been in a car accident. I need help." And he's like, "I'm going to pass you to somebody else." but all of that sounded just like her son. And then the next person was kind of off, and that was what cued her in. But it literally sounded just like her son, and she just posted on Facebook. She was almost this, been scammed by audio AI.
Absolutely. And another one, the same way it's working there, and even also with the deepfakes, are what we call virtual kidnappings. You get the call that supposedly from the kidnapper will put your son, your daughter on, and it definitely sounds like your son, your daughter. They only need about 30 seconds worth of audio, which they can get off of, any kind of social media, and they're going to fool you. There's a part of our brain called the amygdala that makes us react quickly in emergency situations. What families have got to do now, my motto, trust me, you can't trust anyone, is you have to have a code word. Yeah. And so when you get these kinds of emergencies, the first thing you ask is, what's the code word? And if they don't come up with that, there hasn't been the automobile accident, they haven't been kidnapped. But it's unfortunate that that's what we got to do.
Stephen J.J. Weisman, he is the scam man. Scamicide.com is the website. JJ, it's the time of the year, charity. You can tug on the heartstrings, and you can, have the sob story or send it out. Is this time of the year where people fall for them most?
Yeah, absolutely. This is the biggest time for charities. People are looking to give. And here's the thing, we're all familiar with the federal do not call list. The federal do not call list does not apply to charities. So legitimate charities can call you. You don't know when you're getting that call whether it really is from the local police or the Heart Association or cancer or whatever. So you can't trust that. You can't trust your caller ID, which can be manipulated so it looks like it's from legit. So whenever you get a contact, whether it's social media or a phone call or a text message, and if you're considering it, you go to a site called charitynavigator.org. What this will do is it'll give you the real charity, how to contact the real charity. And one of the things that's the most interesting thing is, along with telling you if the one is a scam or not, it'll also tell you how much of what they collect actually goes toward their charitable purposes and how much for their own administrative costs. So you can find out who really is getting the benefit.
The interesting part of this is it's not just these shopping scams, it's also the delivery scams now.
Yeah.
It's also the fake Amazon scams now. It's the fake DHLs.
Oh, yeah.
They want your signature and your gate code before you get there. Buyer beware. Steve, thanks so much, brother. I appreciate it. Have a great holiday.
Stephen J.J. Weisman, scamicide.com. Saving a lot of people a lot of money.
Code word Quattro.
My code word is Palomino, for anybody who wants to know. We're right back after this.
What happened to 2580?
The code word's 1234. Big Biz Show rolls on from the Loft 100 studios. We are in over 175 countries, all the ships at sea, on the American Forces Radio Network. And as always, a shout out to the brave men and women of our United States Armed Forces. Shout out to the Day Trader Quartet up on the stage. And back here at the bar, it is Costa, it is Mary Bert Godwin, and it is Sully. Boy, I was like, okay, what did he call it? Quartet. Quartet.
Did you get a shiner? Is that the...
Meg?
I mouthed off to the boss, and she quickly took care of the situation.
Mama's not happy.
Mama was not happy. So
did you okay there? Nothing?
No, they dug some stuff out, sent some stuff out to be whatever, and so we're all good. Yeah.
Sounds like a murder scene to me.
It
are you
felt
talking
like
about your skin, of course.
It felt like a murder scene, to be honest with you.
Do we get to talk about gold again?
Yes.
I don't think we've had Tim Smith on for several months, and I'd love to think that we could catch up with him. Fantastic.
The CEO of U.S. Gold Mining Inc., of course, their ticker symbol is USGO, and we welcome him back to the Big Biz Show. It's been a long time. Tim, happy holidays. How are you?
Happy holidays to you and yours as well. I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me on.
Absolutely.
Hey, let's have a chat about catching us up on what you guys have going on there with U.S. gold mining, because and then I want to talk about top line, the gold as a whole. But what are you guys up to? How's it going there?
Yeah, look, we've been working really hard this year. There's still a lot of value to be found in the gold equities market, and we've seen some good growth over the year, but we certainly still believe we're very undervalued. We have one of the largest undeveloped gold, copper, silver deposits in North America. which is currently not owned by a mid-tier or senior mining company. And if you look at the map, Whistler sits really close to Anchorage, which is Alaska's main population center, of course. So, we have that location advantage. And further to that, the state wants to build a road, an access road linking the Whistler deposit to Alaska's main industrial port. So we have a huge location and infrastructure advantage. We have an amazing deposit. We're getting ready to move forward with an initial economic assessment. That's also sometimes known as a PEA, a preliminary economic assessment. It's a preliminary review of economic factors on a potential mining opportunity at Whistler, and the timing could not be any better with gold around $4,000 per ounce and copper now above $5 a pound.
There's a lot of arguments how gold's ahead against inflation. Some people say it is, some people say it isn't. You guys are out of fashion for a while. Now gold's back in fashion, and now we're all-time highs. If we look at this as not a commodity, but as an equity market, let's say if you look at GLD, the exchange traded fund, which is a stock that looks at a basket of gold stocks, is there room to run here? Because look, the economy, which I like to say that was shut off like a light switch, came back like a sunrise. It's we're seeing the signs of rate cuts. We're seeing the signs of recovery here. I mean, I think we're still a couple of years away from completed. But does that bode well for gold at this point? Because I seem to think that gold is now ignoring the economic factors and is just a good investment like it used to be pre-stock market days, where it wasn't just a hedge against inflation. It was actually it was part of your asset. Do you agree with me on that, how things have changed a bit in your favor?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's important to have gold as part of your personal investment portfolio now. And there's one very big factor, probably the most important factor at play in terms of why gold price is soaring. We're seeing essentially a battle between the world's major economies for the world's resources right now. The geopolitical landscape is unprecedented. And few commodities have proven to be more timeless or more strategic than gold. Gold flew past $3,000 an ounce earlier this year, and then to our amazement, it caught a second wind in August to climb above 4,000, and it seems to be building a new base there. Can it go higher? Well, I think it can, because the underlying driver behind the rising gold price is the buying by central banks globally, and in particular across the BRICS countries, who are trying to move away from their dependency on the US dollar. As the BRICS nations can continue to add to their gold reserves, what we're seeing, and these are numbers actually just reported yesterday by the Northern Miner, BRICS countries have increased gold's share of their total reserves by 102% since 2020, and during that same period, Western nations have seen only a 12% increase, and that growth is almost entirely attributable to price appreciation rather than actually acquiring and storing gold bullion. I think there's, with that continued buying by those BRICS countries as they try to shift away from the US dollar reserves, I think there's certainly continued. There's going to be continued buying. It's going to put continued pressure, upward pressure on the gold price, because at the same time, globally, we're seeing a generally shrinking gold reserve.
Tim, you're not out there with the pan stooped over a stream. I'm sure that technology is...
I have done that.
Okay. But I'm sure technology has helped you by leaps and bounds, maybe even AI. Have those made your job easier?
We're not really using AI right now.
Okay.
We're waiting, I think, to see that there's a lot of companies out there trying to develop artificial intelligence in terms of managing the massive data sets that we have in exploration and mining, to be able to cut through to really undertake critical analysis faster.
Okay.
No one's really coming out on top there. We use the everyday tools like everybody does, the chat GPTs and so on, just to help for searching and so on. But in terms of the core business, pretty much business as usual right now, but keenly watching and waiting to see if one of those developers makes a breakthrough, and then I think you'll see a seismic shift internally within our industry in terms of new discoveries.
Tim, what's next for you guys coming up for 2026 in terms of what you can tell us? Obviously, as a CEO of a publicly traded company, you can only tell us so much. But what are you looking most forward to here over the first quarter, then into the remaining months of 2026?
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned that we're working on our PEA, our preliminary economic assessment. We want to get that completed by the end of the first quarter in 2026. So we're then well set up for the remainder of the year, heading into the summer field season. We really want to take advantage of what I would refer to as the Alaska advantage right now. The tailwinds, both in terms of state policy, but also in particular coming out of Washington over the last 9 months, have been, exactly the opposite of what we've seen in the past 30 years. We're seeing productive and constructive policy towards mining. It's really contributing now towards the rally in mining stocks. We want to catch that wind. So we're accelerating the development of that study, that preliminary economic assessment on a base case mining opportunity for Whistler. We want to get moving forward with that in 2026. And in parallel, we want to keep exploring because we believe there's a lot more gold, copper, silver to be found on our property. So watch the space for an announcement about the mining metrics around a base case mining opportunity at Whistler, but also, continue to keep an eye out for announcements around our exploration ventures in terms of new targets and new discoveries coming up.
Tim Smith, CEO, U.S. Gold Mining, Inc., ticker symbol USGO. Tim, always appreciate the time. Happy holidays. Thank you very much. All right, keep it right here. Much more to come. Do not go anywhere. Big Biz Show rolls on right after this. We are coming to you live from Southern California, more specifically inside the Loft 100 studios. Look how festive it is. It's beginning to look a lot like something, I'll tell you that. That is the day trader Quattro, best in the business, no less than self-taught. We love them. Back here at the bar as the show rolls on, it is Costa, it's Maribor Godwin, and it is Sully.
We love them so much we don't know the name of the band. But we know there's 4 of them. I think we should call them the 40%.
It works for me.
Because they're 40% of the band Sullivan. Actually, That's not true anymore.
No.
I guess that's true.
Did you add some new members we don't know about?
No, they're ever expanding depending on where we're at.
It happens.
You're familiar with 5 pounds so if we have 10 people on a 5-pound bag. Hey, we got James Herring, and we've got a very special guest.
We do. James McCormick, the CEO of Cloudastructure, Inc., ticker symbol CSAI, making our world more secure. And with him today is Lauren O'Brien, who's the CRO, Chief Revenue Officer for Cloudastructure, Inc.
Who we're going to talk to after we see this video. Look at this video they put together.
All right.
This is a secure area. You're being watched and recorded by a live agent.
This is live security. You are being recorded. Law enforcement is on the way. Hi there. The pool's closed for the evening. Please head back to your unit.
This is a secure area. You are being watched and recorded. Leave immediately.
This is private property. We understand you may need assistance. Please move along safely.
Hi, the resident in 2B drops the cash on the floor. Could you make sure it gets back to them?
Hi, Amazon. Please don't leave it outside. I'll get someone to open the door.
Wow. I love it.
I can't tell if that's mean or that's just good business. James McCormick, Lauren O'Brien, great to have you along today, guys. I have to say,
Sully.
Could you imagine?
Hello.
Could you imagine walking into a place thinking that you got it made, and someone over the microphone says, whatever it's going to say. And,
Well,
I think, and James, we'd like to purchase the rights to some of the blooper reels that you guys see on your videos.
Yep.
Hey, Lauren, Lauren from heretofore is going to be called LOB. Lauren O'Brien.
You know what? That is my nickname.
Is it really? LOB?
Yes, it
Hey,
is.
Lauren, can you, just for our audience, because we have the highest level traders and we have the lowest level folks that are just learning about business, what is a chief revenue officer versus a CFO versus just a marketing person?
Right. So the chief revenue officer, I like to think of it as someone who has the entire revenue engine for the company. So I'm not managing the financials. I do work with the CFO very closely on margins and budget and things like that. But it's really marketing. So you saw that little video. We create videos, webinars, information, branding, so people can trust us. Managing the sales team, of course, for pipeline and growth and revenue. But it's also the delivery. So when we get to a customer site, we want to make sure that we're implementing in an A-quality way, timely, on budget, so that the customer experience is really strong. And then once you implement and you have the product up and running, there's customer support, and then there's customer success, which is the training, the onboarding, and what we like to call delighting the customer. So all of those facets go into CRO responsibilities, and ultimately it's about the customer retention rate as a result of that and our growth. And as you know, it's our customer retention rate's 97%. So I think we're doing a good job.
That seamless customer service experience is something that I think is missing. I complain about this all the time, especially if you go to, let's just say you're going to a restaurant, and they have to have a valet. I think there's a disconnect between what the chief revenue officer thinks is happening and what's happening, where they're going to my door versus my date store, which is usually Mike. By the way, so but at the end of the day, how do you ensure that? Because obviously, with that kind of customer retention rate, obviously there is a seamless customer service experience. At the same time, at the end of the day here, you are trying to drive margin here. I mean, you are CRO of a publicly traded company who serves at the pleasure of the board of directors, who serves at the pleasure of the shareholders. How do you manage that? That seems like a big task to do as quarterback in that whole thing.
Well, I think it's a culture of making sure that the customer comes first. It's not, yes, it's a cost, but it's more an attitude. And so we make sure our team is 100% focused on the customer, and that drives more revenue. So from our perspective, it is very much worth it.
You guys did a great job on that video, because I think we all had the knowledge of what you guys do. But when you think about in terms of how it really works, the deterrence versus the react,
Well, and the human side with the people that were obviously homeless, and you're like, listen, we instead of get the hell out of here, you said, hey, we can contact somebody to help you out.
I think I honestly think there's something to that, because that voice, depending on who it is, obviously. I mean, you've got a friendly voice for the Amazon guy. You've got Mike's mother-in-law for the one where somebody breaks in. But I mean, but at the end of the day, that's got to be a science. Is there some sort of protracted technology there that says, use this guy from The Sopranos for this thing, or use this guy from the prison? I mean, because when you listen to those things, it's really interesting. And I realize, obviously, you created a video out of it. But there's got to be some sort of science to it, because it's working for you guys. I mean, you guys are deterring versus having to react or respond to something that's already happened.
Exactly, which you've paid attention to the last few sessions that we've done, Sully. We're about deterrence, not just being reactive. And kind of following on to Lauren's point that she just made, we've spoken in the past about our remote guarding capabilities that provides a 98% deterrence rate from something that's identified as a threatening activity. And the remote guards, live people, humans in the loop, they're the ones that are delivering those messages. And we work with those guards constantly. Right. But it's all with an eye towards what we need to do to deter a problem before it becomes a problem, so our customers remain delighted. That's how I think we would say it.
James, you were just talking about the actual guards. So were some of those voices AI voices and some are real people voices that are delivering? Because some of them sounded a little bit like it could be AI. But and the Amazon one, I was thinking, how do they know it's an Amazon person?
But if you think about it, though, you're right, they do. But like with a halo collar for dogs, which is not a shock collar, it's like a speaker and go, hey.
Yep.
And it's any sort of interruption, right? I mean, it's a slap. Right. It's a slap to the sensory, regardless what it is. Now, whether it's a gentle slap to the sensory or it's Bobby Knight.
Yeah, well, nothing. What I think what we would say is, Mary, no AI. Right? We don't use pre-recorded messages. We've looked at it. Certain instances, it could make sense just because it could be quicker from a response time standpoint. But the reason that we know it's an Amazon person is because there's an actual live guard. Something triggered. Right? A live feed went to that guard. He's looking at the feed and he knows that the person is wearing an Amazon vest.
That's amazing.
So that's how we know.
Hey, we got to get us some Amazon vest.
Yeah, we do.
Is that the
key? Stay right there, you guys.
Well, there you go.
Stay right there for 1 second. We're going to take this over.
James McCormick, the CEO of Cloudastructure, Inc., and his Chief Revenue Officer, Lauren O'Brien, a.k.a. LOB. Much more with them as the Big Biz Show continues right after this. It is the Big Biz Show. We are live in Southern California inside the Loft 100 studios. Every single episode, we appreciate the fact that you are along for the ride with us. They are along for the ride today, of course. It is the four. The four. Best in the business.
Is that what they're called?
The four.
The four.
Back here at the Bar's Casa, it's Mary Godwin, and it is Sully.
Great to have you along today. We are in 80 million broadcast homes in the U.S., of course, 175 countries and all the ships at sea. And thank you to all our military men and women serving our country overseas and underway.
Always.
James McCormick, CEO of Cloudastructure, Inc., Lauren O'Brien, Chief Revenue Officer of the same, ticker symbol CSAI. Lauren, I got to ask you a question in regards to Mary brought up AI, but not for the purposes of what we're talking about. With respect to AI, how are you guys using AI as a company to drive gross margin? Because I know you are, and I think you're one of the few that's actually got it figured out, because we're just on-ramping to AI. And I think we don't know what we don't know, but you guys somehow have figured out a way to kind of increase, at least it appears so, but from as a shareholder perspective, looking on the outside, looking in. How are you guys doing that?
Well, I would have to say, James can jump in here too, but we have been doing this for a very long time. So I think we were ahead of a lot of people. And so AI has been in our technology stack from the very beginning. We were a bit before our time, even being in the cloud, but it allows us to optimize. So the traditional remote guarding, for example, a lot of people are still using video monitoring with people that are looking at 10 screens. We allow because we're using AI with the combination of humans in the loop, our remote guards can handle 70 to 100 screens at one time. That's UE it drives gross margin. It's a lot more cost effective.
Is this the tip of the spear in your opinion, to where you got it figured out, but maybe there's going to be a different figure out, much like Internet 2.0 back when we used to see the Netscapes of the world and the MySpace of the world, right? Now we see Facebook, right?
It is a super exciting time, and we're just touching the tip of the iceberg and what we can do for our customers. And we probably can't share some of that right now, but it is huge potential.
Above and beyond that, how important it is to educate the community or the communities that you serve on Cloudastructure. Obviously, crime goes up, Cloudastructure comes in. Those areas, you're helping lower that crime rate.
Absolutely correct. Just a couple statistics, and then I'd like to turn it over to Lauren to talk about what we do from a webinar standpoint. But when we talk about remote guarding, we love emphasizing this point. We process more than 8 million videos a day.
Oh my God.
Okay. A percentage of those go to the remote guards. And of that, and we go back to our, the conversation about delighting the customers, 94% of the time, something that may or may not have been identified as a threatening activity is identified as normal, requires no action. So 6% of the time, there's some sort of intervention needed, lockdowns, escalation to police, security, whatever the case might be. And then, what we showed in that video, right? We can address break or deter break-ins, intervening with trespassing, loitering, unhoused people, those sorts of things. So it's a real differentiator for us and something we're incredibly proud of what we've developed and what we deliver. Now, that being said, and Mike, I think this might have been what you were leading to. We also have a outreach mechanism to customers, potential customers, interested parties, and those are in the form of what we put on called webinars. Mm-hmm. And Lauren, do you want to explain what we do there?
Yeah. So this is our marketing team. They're the ones that put together that, our nice videos and such. But we hold webinars once or twice a month, specifically geared towards educating and informing our customers on the issues that are top of mind for them. So, for example, liability fears are on the rise at our multifamily properties. And there's $1 million lawsuits. So we've partnered with lawyers and security experts, and we hold webinars on slip and falls, right? What do you need to do to make sure that you don't get a lawsuit that might not be an appropriate lawsuit? Because there's certainly a lot of people who plagiarize that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. There's pool liability, right? We have a lot of pools that we monitor for remote guarding, and we soon learned that the liability is one of the biggest issues is at the pool. So we'll have a webinar on that. Pet liability. Believe it or not, there's big pet issues with respect to, them going into areas where they shouldn't be, and also just, not picking up after their pets.
Oh. What's interesting there is you're talking about lawsuits, you're talking about those types of things. It'd be interesting for a plugin to be, because it's not about who's right or wrong oftentimes in a lawsuit. It's about the cost of defense. With your technology, you start recognizing a tenant from the old Oakwoods over here, and then 2 years later in the new one, say the same person has done this at other properties that we've monitored. I mean, honestly, it's really interesting on just how much you could expand what you guys have there. It's amazing.
Absolutely. I mean, maybe we hire you for product development.
You know what? I think we all know what you want to hire me for. I think the staff bartender might be the best part for me.
There you go.
James McCormick is the CEO of Cloudastructure, Inc., their ticker symbol CSAI, and Lauren O'Brien, their Chief Revenue Officer.
Before I let you out of here real quick, I'll ask Lauren this because I asked James this a few interviews back. Well, what are you looking most forward to for 2026 for your company? In so much as you could share with us that's not non-public information. What do you think?
I think our CFO was explaining to you that we're on this hockey stick of growth.
Yeah.
I am looking forward to that. I believe it's going to be explosive, and I am excited to be along for the ride.
James, Lauren.
LOB, you're in.
Yeah.
McCormick, you're out.
Lauren, stay away from Amityville this Christmas vacation. I don't want anything bad to happen to you.
Jaws 4 coming out.
Cloudastructure, Inc., CSAI is...
We're done, I think, aren't we?
We are done. Everyone, thank you so much for being along for the ride. We will see you next time.